Today I'm going to be reacting to a video that Dom and I did a couple months ago on our And Asset channel called How to Use Life Insurance While You're Alive. This video got over 3,000 views on a channel that, the And Asset channel that Dom and I started has less than 500 subscribers at the time of this recording. And so this definitely went viral as it relates to this channel. And it also got a record number of downloads on our podcast. And I think this message of using life insurance while you're alive is a very attractive way of thinking. And I think there's some of the things that Dom and I articulated that were really powerful. I want to say a couple things. I'm going to be reacting to this. This is the first time I've reacted to any of our content. So that's number one. I might be in the corner when we're in the corner, so we'll just see how that works. I mean, you'll hear my voice and Dom's voice, and then I'll have the ability to interrupt. I'll also wait till the end to give my full thoughts on this concept, but I will stop every once in a while. And I just want to invite you, if you love this type of content, if you love life insurance content, not only is liking, sharing, and commenting really help us get this content out, but actually going and subscribing to the And Asset channel on YouTube will make it where you can learn everything you need to know about life insurance in real time, as we're going to be sending out more and more content as it relates to that. So without further ado, first time reacting to my own content, I'm going to be in the corner. Here we go.
To use it while you're dead. But in today's video, we are going to talk about how you can use life insurance while you are alive and all the benefits it has associated with it.
Shout out to Kim Butler. She wrote a book, one of the first books I ever read on life insurance. It said, first thing I want to say is beard versus no beard. Love to hear your thoughts on, should I shave it or should I keep it? It's live your life insurance. And it says something like a subtitle of like, you should be the number one beneficiary to your life insurance policy. And this concept is not foreign to us. Sometimes we take it for granted, but when most people think about life insurance, Dom, they literally think about an event that they hope doesn't happen. And by the way, everyone's going to die, but 98% of life insurance, term insurance policies don't pay out. And when we think of insurance, when we think of life insurance, we literally think of something that we want to pay as little bit of premium as possible to have some type of death benefit so we can check the box. So we're not, that type of person that like dies and leaves our family on the streets. So we want to check the box, but we ultimately never want it to pay out because that means we're dead, and we don't really want to pay a lot of money. So why don't we talk about even like when you talk about living benefits, what's the biggest difference in that versus something else?
Well, our whole goal with the And Asset is to help people show up more powerfully in their lives on a day-to-day basis. And the And Asset, which is essentially overfunded life insurance, has multiple benefits. We call it the Swiss Army knife of financial products because it has multiple utilities that are associated with it. When it comes to term insurance, it has one utility, and that is for protection. When it comes to the And Asset, it has multiple benefits, right? And this is where we're going to spend time right now talking about those benefits. But ultimately, those benefits help you show up more powerfully in your life because you're more confident, you're more powerful. Yep. You have the certainty of the protection. You have a liquid opportunity fund so where you can make an impact in the world. I mean, there's so many things that if you get sick, you can tap into it that way. If you get disabled, there's other riders that you can tap into it. There's so many benefits of an overfunded whole life, overfunded policy, which we call the And Asset, and we're going to talk about those with you today.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you my screen. I'm going to put us in the corner. This essentially says a special type of life insurance. And the big epiphany here is, number one, we want to maximize living benefits. So we want them as much cash benefits as possible with minimizing what we call the death benefit. And so essentially, again, it goes against the grain of what everyone teaches. But it's like, hey, if we're going to do this as a asset class, and we did another video about life insurance, when set up and used properly, is an amazing foundational asset. You want to put money into it. And you don't want to do this strategy if you can't put the certain money into it that can really make this worthwhile. And so this is essentially some of the benefits, and take this all with a grain of salt. This has to be set up properly. But what I want to ask you is, as I go through these benefits, so I just, again, recap. I mean, obviously, I'm recapping the video that Dom and I think did a pretty decent job recapping. It's a lot of people think of life insurance is for death, and they don't even think about the living benefit side to this. It's just very interesting that the paradigm, and again, I said shout out to Kim Butler because she wrote a book called Live Your Life Insurance, and it's just a reframing the brain to say, hey, what if life insurance could be an asset while we're alive? And so we're going to go through a bunch of benefits. I'm going to not put myself in the corner, and I'll let you see our video here. And then I believe the next couple screens I switch over, and so I'll be able to dually react to it. I want you to, in your head, rate them and say, how valuable is this benefit in my life? Because for someone like Dom versus someone who's, in a different stage of life, they might value certain benefits different. And it doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes some values more valuable than others. So the first value to overfunded life insurance is it's safe. You're not going to lose your principal. You're not going to lose a ton of money if like if the market crashes or whatever. And so there's a safety element of that, and life insurance is safe.
It honestly might be the safest place to store capital. You could argue that's even safer than a bank.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of banks that went under in 2008, and there's hardly any, if any at all, insurance companies that went under, right? And on top of that, you see where banks are storing their capital, which is a lot of their tier one assets, which is in life insurance, because they know how safe it is.
That's right. easily accessible. Again, I would say a bank account is the most accessible, but this is far more accessible, and you're not going to get penalties for accessing your money like you do in some retirement accounts. Competitive growth. We'll have plenty of videos, ladies and gentlemen, on the actual rate of return. And when you understand the power of life insurance, it gets you a very good rate of return. It's never going to compete with great investments, but when you look at it as a like asset, I would say it gets an amazing rate of return when you look at all the other benefits that it does when you really properly compare it to other asset classes. Leverageable. Welcome to the AND asset. This ability to utilize capital while your money continues to grow. It's one of the only paper assets that you can leverage your savings. Has some built-in guarantees. Now, every contract's a little different, but every contract that we work with has some type of guarantees built into it, which is how valuable is that? For some people, not so much. For others, it's everything. No percentage-based fees. What do I mean by that is you're not going to be paying a 1% management fee for the money that you have built up. Over time, commissionable products, you pay way less than a percentage-based assets. That's a video that we need to make.
I was just going to say that.
Free of regulation. Every state's a little different, but life insurance as contract law, we know some states that are very, very protected, and you don't necessarily have to be worried about, Congress meeting and changing something. At the time of this recording, Congress has a lot of power in their hands. They can change some rules that could affect other people's retirement plans. This is not really going to be affected at all. No contribution limits. There is a contribution limits as it relates to the insurance companies and what they allow, but there's nobody like the government saying, hey, you can only put so much money in because of the tax benefits. And if you're creative, you can stuff a ton of money in, and it's really based on the contract and the company, not some limit that someone in Congress has made. You have creditor protections, which we mentioned. You don't, and this is gray area, but in most cases, you do not get to deduct your contributions, and this should be something that we're proud of. You could say it's a Roth on steroids. If you get a deduction today by funding your policy, that means you have to give some tax benefit up in the future. And in a lot of cases, Dom, I look at where our country's going, and I say I would rather have our money grow without taxes and be able to use it without taxes, and I'm okay if I have to pay, I don't get a deduction for the money that I put in. And then when set up and used properly, your money will grow tax-free. You can use it tax-free, and your death benefit passes on income tax-free. And so these are some of the benefits that are just truly incredible, and it's just one of those things that it's amazing, man.
I don't know any other financial product that essentially fits all of those. Right? A lot of financial products fit a couple of those, and they may outperform the AND asset in one of those.
Right.
And you look at it as a whole, there's nothing that I'm aware of outside of the AND asset that has all of those benefits.
Right. And just to, again, I'll say this a different way. I did a presentation for somebody, and this is how I want to just say this one thing. One of the things when we talk about many benefits, I'm not going to say that if something has 5 benefits versus 4, that the 5 is better than 4. I said something early on in this video. It's like you have to get really clear on what you want, and then someone who's 60 or 70 may value guarantees and safety different than the person who's 15 or 16 or even 25. It doesn't make the safety anything different. It just means that I value certain benefits versus the other. And so a great exercise is to really figure out what do you want to accomplish, and then when you're looking at anything that you do with your money, start doing a checklist of these are the pros and these are the cons, and then weigh those values. And what I'm saying again, life insurance is not an investment, but when set up and used properly, it gives you so many benefits. And that checklist, it was just many examples. And so let's continue to see what I'm about to say here. I ended just using case studies, and I'm going to go through this really fast. But life insurance has a death benefit. What's the value of a death benefit? It has the ability to, and I'm going to put ourselves in this corner here. Our good friend Garrett Gunderson wrote a book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? And you start doing research on wealthy families. They use this as a way to replenish their family trust, but then also they utilize capital to reinvest in things that they value. We did this on our Better Wealth channel on how one of our co-founders that's no longer with us used his policy to buy cows for their family. They made money doing it, 3,000% rate of return, and it also protected their family when he passed.
Oh, people can go find this video right now.
That's right. Yes, it's amazing. It's a fun story. We have one of our clients and good friends, Gopala, who is crushing it in the option world. He's using life insurance. This is Justin Donald. I highly recommend people go check out his book, The Lifestyle Investor. He's an amazing case study and actually writes in multiple chapters how he uses life insurance to fund other deals and businesses. You made an appearance. It's interesting. Like you're using this as a foundational asset and as a way to create crypto returns. I'm hoping to buy a plane someday using this. It's an amazing asset for your kids. I did this episode with Jason Sanger, who's a phenomenal communicator as it relates to retirement income, and he's talking about like giving yourself options. And whether it's the volatility buffer strategy, which we'll have a video on this channel, whether it's a covered asset strategy, whether it's a reverse mortgage option, Ernst & Young, this is interesting. They did a study, and they pretty much said like that insurance works with investments and can improve your financial wellness. So this is something that we need to do a video breaking down.
Key.
Ed Slott, the father of the IRA, and has a phenomenal book that everyone should go get, has a whole chapter dedicated to life insurance and how it can enhance and be a good thing in retirement. Dr. Wade Fowle, who I've had on our podcast and show, has a really technical book where he talks about safety first retirement planning, and he talks about how life insurance can enhance your retirement income. You look at states like Florida, every state has like amazing benefits as it relates to cash value, but not every state has it like Florida. And Florida, you get this, like you're good to go. Like creditors cannot get your money, which is truly, truly incredible. I mean, this is sounding sad, but like the Enron executives, they had some pensions and life insurance protected even when they tanked the company in fraud because of how powerful contract law was. You have your chronic illness riders, which is very beneficial for the future. Waiver of premium, my thesis of you being able to save more, and my bad drawing that I love showing. And by the way, there's a protection, but like giving your dollars more than one job. The reason we share this, Dom, is like I just want people to understand when set up and used properly, life insurance is not just a place for your money to grow. That's amazing. But there's so many other benefits. We have to put a value on those benefits to properly compare it to other places to put money.
Dude, I love always at the end of videos, you just go on rants and you crush it. People get to hear your brain get spit out in video. It's a drop mic moment. And
problem is you can't drop these mics. So
yeah, well, that was good. That was really good. That was actually something I wasn't even expecting that he was going to pull up, and I thought that was fire. So that's a good way to end the video.
Here's what I'll say: if you're interested in the and asset strategy and are a reader, go get my book, The And Asset. Well, you can get it on Amazon. There should be. All right, I'll stop there. You should get my book if you want it. It's on Amazon. You can go to a link down below, and I'm sure you can figure out how to get the And Asset book. We're literally making it super easy to get and super affordable. So all that to say is, number one, this brought back good memories, and I again love the concept of can life insurance enhance you while you're alive. And I think the biggest thing is if you know, Dom mentioned this concept of like the Swiss Army knife. I use the cell phone example of like this cell phone doesn't give me a rate of return, but it allows me to show up powerfully in business. It allows me to connect with people, allows me to post, and it's the gateway to so many things. It creates so much utility for my time. I think of life insurance when set up and used properly, it gives us that utility, the using our dollars in more than one place, that same effect. It's not the end all be all, but it's the foundation can enhance my portfolio. That's I guess my summary of this reaction content. If you want to see the original piece of content, we'll have that linked below. Subscribe to the And Asset channel. If you want to learn more, we have an And Asset Vault. Dom and I put that together to give you the one-stop shop for every life insurance decision. And so you can check that out. And if there's anything that we can do as a company to help serve you, help you be more in control of your money, we work with people all over the country, and it would be an honor to speak with you further. And so with that, thank you again for subscribing to the Better Wealth channel. We think about money differently, and I will react to my own pieces of content if we have to do that. So appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.